retired some years before and gone to work for a government agency that was later found to be front for the CIA, and then almost as if by magic they showed up and were at the emergency control center within a very short time after the assassination.
It's really interesting that Manny Pena is the one trying to shut that avenue down, because he's also the one that's directly connected to the CIA, and he was also the choke point of the investigation. There's a flow chart that shows kind of the routing of information through SUS, and it starts at this desk, and then it goes here, and then it goes here, and at some point it gets to Manny Pena's desk, and he had sole authority to determine what got further, investigated and what got shut down. And he had worked for AID, the Agency for International Development, which was a well-known CIA cover agency, providing cover to the CIA. And also, his brother was on TV saying how much Manny Pena enjoyed his years of service to the CIA. So it's pretty well established that, he was not just an LA police officer. He was a CIA operative. So very interesting that he would be in the catbird seat regarding the investigation of Robert Kennedy.
Sandra Serrano was a 20-year-old Kennedy campaign worker. She went to the Ambassador Hotel with a few friends on primary night. But after a while, she decided to get out of the heat and retreated to an exit staircase outside the hotel. At about 11:45, she claimed 3 people, a woman and 2 men, one of whom she would later identify as Sirhan, pushed by her on the staircase and went into the hotel. About a half hour later, she said the same woman and one of the men came running down the stairs. The woman seemed exuberant, and she and Serrano had a bizarre exchange of words, which Serrano described live on TV just a little while later.
I was standing there just thinking about how many people there were and how wonderful it was. And then this girl came running down the stairs in the back, and said, "We've shot him, we've shot him." And I says, "Who did you shoot?" And she says, "We shot Senator Kennedy." She had on a white dress with polka dots. She was light-skinned, dark hair. She had black shoes on. A boy came down with her. He was about 23 years old, and he was Mexican-American, because I can remember that because I'm Mexican-American.
The man that I interviewed on that tape was named John Fahey. He claims to have spent the day with a girl who later became known as the girl in the polka dot dress. This girl predicted the killing of Senator Kennedy not only as to the date, but to the exact occasion on which it would occur. A team of investigators composed of Jordan Bonfanti, Bureau Chief for Life magazine in Los Angeles, and myself set out to verify the story of John Fahey. We were fortunate enough to be able to confirm an important portions of that story. We further went on and gave the man a polygraph test, a lie detector test, on which the man passed with flying colors. The description given by Fahey of this woman was so detailed that we were able to get a police artist to make a composite. This portrait was later on shown to Vincent DiPiero. Vincent DiPiero had seen the girl in the polka dot dress a few minutes prior to the shooting in the company of Sirhan Sirhan. He immediately identified the girl in the polka dot dress in our portrait as being the girl that was with Sirhan. Now, that girl's description was identical to the description given by many people.
She was tall, statuesque, black hair, well built. I did notice that. I remember that she had on a polka dot dress.
There were a lot of witnesses to Sirhan's behavior at the Ambassador Hotel that night, and many of the witnesses saw him seemingly in the company of a young, attractive woman. And that would happen in the ballroom, and others would say it happened in the pantry just before the shooting, and at different places during the evening.
I saw Sirhan and a lady and another gentleman consistently throughout the evening. There was a girl in a black and white dress involved with Sirhan.
In the weeks that followed, Serrano was questioned repeatedly by police. Her phone rang constantly. Her house was broken into. On June 20th, Serrano was told to come down to headquarters and asked to submit to a polygraph test given by Sergeant Enrique Hernandez, the same Hank Hernandez that Sergeant Schraga complained had so mysteriously returned from overseas employment. Although almost all tapes of witness interviews were lost or destroyed by the LAPD, a tape of Serrano's session has somehow survived. The interview begins in a normal enough fashion. Hernandez explains that the LAPD desires to conduct a thorough investigation and wants to leave no stone unturned. He asks Serrano several different times whether she was telling the truth about the night of the murder. Serrano answers in the affirmative. But then the formal questions end and the session takes a very strange turn.
Sandy, I'm not going to ask you any more questions. Not a single one. I do want to talk to you like a brother. Look, I presume, I don't know if I relate to anyone. I'm Catholic. Are you Catholic?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Does that mean that you don't practice? Alright, okay, here's the thing. You're an intelligent young girl. You know that for some reason, this was made up. So here's what you have to think about right now, is that I think you owe it to Senator Kennedy, the late Senator Kennedy, to come forth, be a woman about this. If he, and you don't know, and I don't know whether he's a witness right now in this room watching what we're doing in here, don't shame his death by keeping this thing up. I have compassion for you. I want to know why. I want to know why you did what you did. This is a very serious thing.
I've seen those people.
No, Sandy. Remember what I told you about that? You can't say you saw something when you didn't see it. Sandy, look, I can explain this to the investigators where you don't even have to talk to them, and they won't talk to you. I can do this. But I know that as you get older, one of these days you're going to be a mother. You're going to be a mother, you're going to have kids, and you know that you can't live a life of shame knowing what you're doing right now is wrong.
I'm still not doing anything wrong.
Well, maybe you don't feel it, but when you get older, you will. But please, in the name of Kennedy,
I don't want to name of Kennedy. I'm going to get business.
If you know that this is wrong, I mean, Sandy, you know that this is wrong. You might want to be pushing it off with a smirk on your face, with a smile, but you know that deep inside what you have done.
I remember seeing a girl.
No, I'm talking about what you have told here about saying a person tell you we have shot Kennedy, and that's wrong. No, it isn't, Sandy. Please, don't have to help me. Look, I love this man, and you're shaming if right now, if he can't even... Well, I'm trying not to shout, but this is a very emotional thing with me too, you see. Are you afraid right now, Sam?
Huh?
Are you afraid?
No, I don't like this.
I know you don't.
I'm afraid. I just don't like it.
No, you're afraid.